and good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome to Hawthorne Racecourse for a Sunday afternoon of thoroughbred action. Jim Miller and Emily Gullikson up here in the mezzanine level studio. Emily, I missed being here on Thursday. I was down in Springfield for the state fairs. You did a wonderful job, though, running the ship there on Thursday. Nice job.
Tried to hold it down. In your absence, you've set the bar high, so I just tried to carry it through Thursday. I'll try to maybe carry it one more week. Maybe you'll be here on Thursday.
I might be, but
I might use my one time for the weather. I haven't decided yet. I still have that one time.
There is, and weather is in the forecast, not only here, but in Springfield this upcoming week, so we'll see what happens with those races. But yeah, we got through the first 3 days. It was a split 17 race card on Thursday, followed by 15 on Friday, and then 13 of them yesterday. So kind of descending order. We're going back up. We got, I think, 18 carded at Springfield on Wednesday.
That's a lot of races.
So I'm learning new jobs, though. I've been the paddock judge down there. I've been the placing judge.
Okay.
I might get the steward do a little bit of everything. It's
kind
of fun.
We were wondering. I was like, oh, we're not hearing Jim's voice. Okay, so he must be doing something else. But yeah.
When I get Kurt Becker to call races down there, he's the man. I mean, come on. You're calling races at Keeneland and the Illinois State Fair. And he's doing NASCAR, he's doing auto auctions. Kurt rocks.
That's legit. You love
awesome.
that. It's like, I can play the big venue, but, I can also play the local club on Friday night.
Exactly.
Keep it real for the fans.
The man is an encyclopedia of Illinois harness racing history, so it was cool to have him there, and a whole lot of fun. All right, 10 races today. Fast track, firm turf, lot to talk about here. Not a ton of time to do it because it's nice out. Temperatures in the 70s, so we should have normal post-parade throughout the course of the day. Kick things off with the babies today, Emily. 5/8 of a mile for the maidens, field of 7. Talked about this race this morning. I expect Lou Man the 4 probably to go favored once we get to post time, but right now, Robert's Moon is your 9-5 favorite from the barn of Brittany Vandenberg. At least we'll get a good look at these horses in the paddock prior to the opener.
I think that's key, and the odds could change a little bit as we've seen Robert's Moon, the current favorite, but the horse that you're interested in, Journey, is right there taking some sneaky money. And then you mentioned the 4, Lou Man, 1 of 2 for Larry Ravelli. But actually looking at some of the early money, some of the exacta money is on number 3, Best Dressed Man. So could be a little bit sneaky, but as we cycle back around and get a look at those horses, I think there's so much of an edge there, especially starting off that early pick 5 sequence.
Yeah, it's going to be a good, intriguing race. We'll try to get through all of them when we get back to the paddock. And still be heading over on their walk to the paddock for the opener very shortly for race 1. Race 2 on the turf, 1 mile on the firm turf course. Scratch the main track, only the 7, Lola. Field of 6 lines up. We talked about this race a little bit in the morning show with Steve Simonovich. Of course, he was very high on Catholic Sue. I ended up in the spot with Miss K's Dynasty. How did you see things unfolding for race number 2?
Well, I think we see it similar in the sense that the early pace should be contentious, and that early pace includes number 1, Tribist, one that fits as an individual, taking on winners for the 2nd time. But if that early pace is contentious in here, it sets up for number 3, Miss K's Dynasty, as well as number 2, Roar of Silence, and even the Simonovich horse, number 4, Catholic Sue, could get that right trip. You draw a line through that last race, just the horse didn't have anything go right as far as the trip, so very deserving of a second chance on the grass.
And one thing that was interesting, I know we don't have a ton of time, but I want to touch on it. Steve had mentioned that Catholic Sue at one point was trained by Carl Broberg. Carl, a big friend of Hawthorne Racecourse, he's trained horses here in the past, played a ton of contests, won contests here. He's a lot of fun to be around. He retired from training after 15 years of training, almost 5,000 winners, and Carl is a guy that I'm happy for him. He's doing what he loves, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you can dictate on your own terms, and when you need to go a different direction and something's calling you to make that change, and I'm sure he's still working with horses, training, breaking the babies on his farm, and ever wanted to get back into training, he knows that door's there, so he can jump back in. But yeah, I think it's great. I know we'll probably see him up at some of the tournaments. Not that we haven't already, but I'm sure we'll see him again and again.
He made an incredible run at the NHC this year to get to the final day, so that was a lot of fun to watch too. But we wish him the best of luck. I'm sure we will see him around, probably at our tournaments, as he is originally from the Chicagoland area. Race number 3 today goes 1 mile and 70 yards, $5,000 claimers in race number 3. It's a field of 6 to line up in this spot. I found this to be an interesting race because I don't think there's going to be a standout, and I don't think there's going to be a really long shot here. And I ended up falling on Summer at the Spa. What route did you look here in race number 3?
You're gonna think
did you go back to NIF?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, good for you. Way to stick with this racehorse one more time.
I made the case. It was just last week. I mean, the outcome wasn't ideal, but they're wheeling right back. I think that suggests some intent. She was restless in the gate. She ended up chasing extra wide. They should definitely avoid that here from the rail. And I just thought, like you said, there's no standout in this race. and I'm going to give her one more chance. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but at least I know the number's going to be right. And I mean, come on.
Stick to your
I
guns,
have
that's
dedication and tattooed on my body, so I'm going with it.
Good luck to you with NIF there in race number 3. Hey, you never know. Anything can happen in this spot. Trainer Dino DeZeo's had himself a pretty good meet as well. Angel Reyes picks up the call today on NIF. You definitely will get your price there in race number 3. Fourth race on the card, allowance runners. They go 3/4 of a mile in race number 4. It's a field of 6 to line up in this spot. And looking up and down the field, I mean, Devil's probably going to take some money. Tuchach could take a little bit of money as well. I ended up on Princess Tanko in this spot. David Cohen for Joel Campbell. What route did you look in race 4?
I looked at this race and I thought number 4, Tuchach, was a complete standout in here. It was the only horse I wrote about. I'll be thrilled if she's a third choice because I think she's the most likely in here. I mean, again, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but you handicap, you go with your opinion, and just kind of the way it stacks up in a compact field. I'm going to go with Tuchach. I think she checks all the boxes, has that class and speed figure edge. Upside in the second start of the meet, returns under similar conditions to the June 22nd race, a much higher par. That's the way I went, number 4, Tuchach.
That's a big point you make there. That June 22nd race was very tough for that level. That was much different from that race back on July the 14th that some of these others come out of. But that June 22nd race, Dorothy Crowfoot, we know was solid. Sally Surprise came back to one. We know Beehive has been good too.
Yep.
So Tuchach should be a solid factor in here. Louis Roussel's had himself a pretty good meet as well, and we'll see what we get out of Tuchach in race number 4. Fifth race on the card to the turf, 5.5 furlongs on the firm turf course. Scratch the 2 lip liner. We had discussion this morning about what was going to happen with Madeline Bell. Was Armando going to run both? And then what was the price going to be? Madeline Bell stays in, going to be a very short price. I think you have to go one of 2 routes. You single on this one, or you just look elsewhere in this field.
Yeah, I was willing to take her on, and not because, you know, any strong knocks against her, but it's not necessarily that she has that big edge, and she's going to be a big favorite, especially to close out that sequence. And there's horses in here that I think are on the upswing, including our stablemate who made the case for number 3, Cotton Candy Annie. She's trying something a little bit new, cutting back, that has just improved with each race in this current cycle. And similar for number 6, Frosty Claire, then you made the point, she's just better on the turf. She made a big close last out, a big gallop out. I know it might not look like it with the running line and finishing position, but I think she has a little bit more tactile speed, and that's going to be key in this race. Even number 7, Race Day Attire, I can get to her at a big price. She's got some back numbers on the turf that fit right on par. So I just thought it was a race I'm willing to get creative, hopefully get a little bit of racing luck in there, taking on number 5, Madeline Bell. I almost said Madeline Attack, but Madeline Bell.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the gallop out on horses too, because our TV crew does an exceptional
They're
job
the
of picking up
They
horses
are the best.
beyond the finish line. And so many racetracks just stop at the wire and that's it, and you don't get to see anything else.
Sometimes you don't even get to see the rest of the field as they cross the wire. Not that I'm looking at any track out of the corner of my eye right now as I'm saying that.
Good luck to you on that one. But it's very important to see what happens after the wire. They do an exceptional job. So that could be a key for Frost to declare there in race number 5. Sixth race on the card, 6250 maidens go 3/4 of a mile. It's a field of 6, scratch the 5, Sayon. From this field of 6, the question here is Captain's Flag on the outside is going to take some money here, maybe Malibu Road. I took a flyer. I went to Kaiser in this spot. Where did you look here in race number 6?
I can definitely see Kaiser in this race. It has run sneaky good races on the inside. It's going to come closing late. I just stuck with number 7, Captain's Flag. I just starting with the favorite. Steve said earlier, you know, you always try to beat the favorite, and then one of the things that's kind of changed my game a little bit more is just learning how to assess the favorite, because you do want to take them on, but you kind of have to start there, right, and build around. And I think Captain's Flag makes a lot of sense. It's just a new face with the change in class. The effort back on July 6th fits on par, and then had to set the pace in that massive downpour over the turf just over a week ago. So I think this is a live spot. And the barn has a few on the card.
Yeah, and I think they had intentions for turf, but I think the horse is better on dirt. I mean, you saw in the race 2 back, that was probably the best effort we've seen out of Captain's Flag. They dropped in class. They're going to take some action, be tough there in race 6. Race 7, 5.5 on the turf, allowance runners. It's a field of 9 in this spot. This is a good race here. I know Steve was on Dock 7. We talked about Star Wisher and what the odds will be on that one, because you are coming in off a long layoff again. I think Grace Leads Us Home could be very tough, and Mojica took that one, maybe even over Dock 7 in this spot.
I think that's kind of the grouping right there. You have Star Wisher coming back off the layoff, who I think just fits in terms of form, but again, sprinting, coming off the layoff, there's some question marks there. Dock 7, much better on the turf. Grace Leads Us Home. Ran a good race last out. Today's going to be a little bit tougher, maybe not quite the price last out. would be value at 5 to 1. The other one I wanted to throw in the mix is number 4, Diamond's Joy.
Sure.
It's just facing tougher, especially in those turf races and some subtle trips as well.
Yeah, Grace leads us home. The one that I'm going to look to there to come running at him late in the 7th. 8th race, a mile and 70 yards, scratch the 1. Cool Quartet in the 8th. Gluckstadt, field of 6 in here. Steve was on Champagne Mike. Of course he had to be. We talked about it this morning. Said it's a lot of horses that are kind of converging into an allowance race. May not be necessarily even an allowance type field, but that's where you find Hop and John for me on the stretch and distance. Where did you look here in the 8th?
I went with number 7, Valiant
Okay.
West. Again, everything's going to change a little bit in terms of odds, and the race complexion changed a little bit too. And Valiant West has some tactical speed. Adam Santos taking over as positive in here, and just getting some class relief, even though it's a similar race in terms of non-winners and one allowance, a different race par, and there's also just different timing, 28 days versus a 1 week turnaround, and the distance, the lower par. I think there's some intent in here, so I'm going to just kind of single Valiant West.
Sure.
Because otherwise I'm making cases for everybody, and I'm just going to kind of have to stick with my guns and hope it works out.
Yeah, scratches are going to make a little bit of a difference there in the 8th. Talk about sticking with your guns here in race number 9, scratch to 5, Mining Camp. I was on God, Guns, and Guts in this spot at 6 to 1. Maybe the price comes down a little bit with Mining Camp coming out of here. Found this to be a pretty tough race, though. We miss Arlington, Easy Fast, the 2 DeVito horses in this spot. They both stay in. Question is, do you look that way or do you look elsewhere in the 9th?
I'm actually going to kind of go back to my handicapping from that July 25th race.
Okay.
Easy Fast, I liked the effort. I thought that horse was kind of a standout in there, and then the trip was subtle as they had the layoff. They made that middle move after a poor start, and there was a slight delay. There was 2 late scratches in there.
Yep.
And then number 4, Ice Axe, was the long shot that I liked, who ran a good race. And
Yep.
so I have no reason to kind of knock those 2 in this spot, so I'm going to go back to them in here.
And nobody should be a very short price in there. So I think you can go a few different ways and make some money there in race 9. And then in the finale, 1 mile on the turf, field of 9 to line up in the last. It starts with Sharp Stick. The question is, does it end with Sharp Stick? I thought so in this spot today. What do you think for the last?
I think Sharp Stick is very logical in here, but it's going to be a short price, maybe similar for Regimental. I thought the value in this race was number 8, T-Law, one that
Yep.
to me physically looks like a turf horse, is getting another chance to run on the turf. And then the other one we brought into the fold was number 1, Prince is My Boy, where they've shown some turf intent as well. Might just be putting things together at the right time and place for a live Cody Razine bar.
Yeah, I think T-Law was the one poised with the best shot to make the upset. We'll see if that is the case there in the finale. All right, that's how we see the 10 races. Let's flip back to the opener. Take a look at the field for the first. Maiden 2-year-olds in this spot. Field of 7 to line up in race number 1. Emily, we're looking at the horses right now. 2 to 1 on the 2, Roberts Moon. This one from the barn of Brittany Vandenberg. Chris Amy in the saddle today. So that's who we're going to start out with. You get a good look at that one right there. Looks to be handling everything just fine in the paddock in preparation for the debut.
Yeah, he looks great. And one of the things we talked about earlier is I hadn't seen Roberts Moon. He worked back at the sale, but I hadn't seen him since, and he looks great. But you watched the work and thought that
Yep.
it was a really strong work. I think you watched the gate work.
Yep, the one on
And-
July 20th. Yep.
Yeah, and that's solid. Back at the sale, maybe still a little bit green. He was a little bit slappy, kind of gave that turf impression. So one of the other Brittany Vandenberg runners that you pointed out, I wanted to show early speed, didn't quite get out of the gate. I expect this one's right out of the jump, tries to show early speed.
I think that's going to be the goal. Try to beat the others to the top, try to make every call a winning one. But yeah, looking great in preparation here for the debut. And we'll see what we get as they're going to be saddling Roberts Moon shortly for race number 1. The 4 horse in here at 3 to 1 is Lou Man. Lou Man from the barn of Larry Ravelli, one of 2 Ravelli runners in the spot. We know they're always going to take money. Lou Man, a horse with a nice progression of drills. As expected, you're going to see the blinkers for that debut. So you see this one out there in the walking ring, kind of looking around a little bit here.
Yeah, it's looking a little green, and also I just want to kind of see him when he starts to kind of move a little bit. Kind of giving like some turf impression, but again, I want to see a little bit more. It's always hard to tell in the paddock, especially when they have a handler and everything, but otherwise looks fit, looks like a horse that, you know, as ready as they're going to be for the first start and then be able to develop going forward.
Yeah, right now currently sitting at 5 to 2 there with the 4, Lou Man. 6 horse at 7 to 2 right there is Journey. Journey, one of 2 in here from the barn of trainer Michelle Boyce. Adamar Santos gets the call today. Also blinkers for the first out. Seen this one work too, and I really like the last work on August the 4th. I thought this horse just really strong stride, finished well, raced well going through the wire. I think this horse could be ready for an Illinois bred at first asking.
I am using this horse. I mean, based on, you've seen him, you said he outworked the stablemate. The stablemate is in this race. I should say the name just so I'm not saying the stable. And Indyville on their inside, who we're getting to look at right now. Indyville doesn't have the blinkers on. I think Journey makes a very positive appearance. And you did note from the work the horse would want more ground, and I could see that too, but could just catch the right group in here. Definitely looks well prepared for himself.
Yeah, I'd probably question it a little bit at 4.5. At 5/8, I think you're going to be okay. We'll see what happens as they get going a little bit further here, but we'll see what Journey shows us at first asking. Let's look to the 3 horse at 10-1 real quick. That's Best Dressed Man. This is another one from the barn of Larry Ravelli. Orlando Mojica gets the call today. Also blinkers for the first out, but when you look through the morning drills, they're just kind of there. I mean, the horse hasn't done anything overly quickly, which you normally do see for Ravelli, but at the same time, looks just fine in the paddock right now, and you never know what you're going to get until the horse gets onto the racetrack for that first start.
Was this one you were able to watch in the morning, catch a work? What have you seen out of Best Dressed Man?
Got out of the gate fine, but then after that, just nothing exceptional for that early foot. It was one of those that just kind of went along and just kind of did his thing more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, looking at him right now, he looks good. I actually like his physical appearance a little bit more than number 4 Lou Man, just for today's conditions. And he was the one that, when I was just kind of looking at the board and looking at the pools, trying to get some clues, was taking some money. He's definitely a sprinter. He's carrying some weight on there. He's a pretty stout guy. Best Dressed Man.
We'll see what we get out of that one. Then you mentioned the one, Normandy Neiman, because you had seen the work really early on for this one's career. Was down to 9-1 at one point, back up to 13-1 right now. Any notes on Normandy Neiman in preparation for the debut?
This was back at the June sales. It wasn't that it was that long ago, but he did work 10-3, and he was reaching out. It was just still a horse that looked like he was still growing and wasn't really carrying a lot of weight. So one that's probably going to still benefit from a race and racing, especially from the inside. He's got to get out of there quick. So maybe one to follow going forward.
Yeah, we'll see what we get out of that one as we move forward there for today's opener. And then last, let's touch on the 7 real quick. Sneaky Feet on the outside, 9-1. Only again because they're taking some action here in preparation for this debut, and you get a look at that one in the walking ring right now.
Another good-looking horse, kind of a bigger type, just from looking at him right now. So we'll see. I think being on the outside is a positive in this case, but one that should definitely appreciate the first start. A little bit more ground. We'll see them come out running.
And we'll see how things unfold as riders get a leg up for the opener. Good luck.
On the track for the Sunday opener, 5 furlongs. These are 2-year-olds, field of 7, no changes. Win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta. Starts the rolling daily doubles, rolling pick 3s, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. They are parading. Here they are. 1 Normandy Neiman with Frank Reyes riding. 2 Roberts Moon will be ridden by Chris Amy. 3 Best Dressed Man with Orlando Mojica aboard. 4 Lou Man, David Cohen. 5 Indyville with Alexi Centeno. 6 Journey will be ridden by Edamar Santos. And number 7, Sneaky Feet, Israel Hernandez will bring him to the gate, and we'll all be there in about 3 minutes. Kick off the Sunday program. The dirt track is fast. Turf is listed as firm with the rail set at 0 feet on the turf course. 3 minutes for the first here at Hawthorne. Racing fans, little time remains for you to wager on today's first race here at Hawthorne, which features rolling doubles, rolling pick threes, a 50-cent pick five, and the $1 place pick eight. We do thank you for joining us, wherever it may be across the betting network. Sunny skies here, weather temperature in the upper 70s. Dirt track will be fast all day long. Turf will be firm all day long. The rails set at 0 feet on the turf course. We have 2-year-olds in the opener. They're moving towards the gate. Close to starting time for race 1 here at Hawthorne. Racing fans are at the starting gate for today's first race here at Hawthorne, first of 10 on the Sunday program. No carryover pools to report. 2-year-olds in the opener. Horses are entering the starting gate at Hawthorne. Last 2 to go in will be Lou Man and Sneaky Feet. Waiting now for Sneaky Feet. Lou Man backed out. Sneaky Feet moving forward. They're all in the gate. They're off. Roberts Moon out sharply for the lead. Best Dressed Man came away well. Here's Indyville moving up. Journey on the far outside is 4 across the track, battling for the lead. Coming away 5th and taking to the outside is Luman. Then it's Sneaky Feet in the early trailer. Normandy Neman, they move around the far turn, and Indyville is taking the lead. Journey up on the outside now, second. Roberts Moon still right there, third. It's a 4-length gap. Best Dressed Man fourth. Luman out there fifth, 10 lengths from the leaders. And then it's 2 more back to Sneaky Feet and Normandy Neman at the end. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Indyville still has the lead by 2. Journey trying to come to him on the outside, second. Roberts Moon down along the rail is third. From far back, Luman closing ground fourth. Inside, Sneaky Feet is fifth. They're in deep stretch, and Indyville strong on the lead. It's Indyville coming to the wire with a 6-length advantage. Indyville won it. Roberts Moon got up for second. Then it was Journey and Luman. In today's first race, 5 Indyville finished first, 2 Roberts Moon was second, 6 Journey finished third, 4 Luman fourth. 5264 is posted. It's unofficial. 58.78 the running time for the 5 furlongs. Returning the unofficial winner, 5 Indyville. Indyville is owned by SD Really Limited Partnership of Stephen and Diana Holland, also owned by Judy Dunker as part of the SD Really Limited Partnership. Michelle Boyce trains Alexi Centeno, the winning rider. SD Really Limited Partnership entrants go 1-3, as well as the Boyce trainees go 1-3 here in the first. It's still unofficial. Indyville is an Illinois foaled 2-year-old gelding by Take Charge Indy of the Castle Mare Puntsville. Indyville was bred Illinois by his owner, SD Burley Limited Partnership. First race is official. Running time 58.78. It's official. Prices in a moment. The $1 exacta 5-2, $33.20. 50-cent trifecta 5-2-6, $44.50. The 20-cent superfecta 5-2-6-4, $29.98. Today's second race, as Win Play show exacta trifecta superfecta, starts another daily double, another pick 3, and today's 50-cent early pick 4. Here are the changes in your early pick 4 races. Turf is firm, rail set at 0 feet. Second race, scratch 7, 'twas low. Let's scratch 7, 'twas low. Another reminder, as of now, there are no jockey changes or overweights on the program. The third and fourth race have no changes. Fifth race, scratch 2, lip liner.